Welcome to Today I Am. Today I am here. Now, in this podcast, I wanted to create a space to share thoughts, share wisdom, have a creative outlet for myself, and really just push myself outside of my comfort zone of what I'm comfortable with, what I have done, what I have experienced and achieved so far. Today's episode is supposed to be about what is today I am. Now, this is a mantra that I've had for years and something that I've created. And honestly, it's something that inspired a tattoo on my leg. It just says today. And what I wanted to describe to you guys and anyone listening and myself as well is to reiterate what does today I am mean? And how can I use this mantra to be present in a busy life, in a busy world? Because I know I'm not the only one that's extremely busy, right? For those who don't know me, welcome to the podcast. My name is Casey Gilbert. I am 34 years old, be 35 next month. I live in upstate New York with my wife, my dog, my cat, and my 2-month-old daughter. And that is a wild place to be and an incredible thing to say because I've been struggling with anxiety and depression most of my life. I have been in the fitness world and the fitness space as far as working out for myself since I was 14 years old is when I can recall really taking up lifting. I've been in sports my entire life. I ran track and field at Binghamton University, and then after a brief stint in medical sales and in an ER scribe, which is a whole nother story, I started in the fitness world as far as a personal trainer, group fitness instructor, on camera fitness trainer, coach for iFit, which is where most of you probably know me from, and eventually into my own business called CG Coaching, which I started, as you can see to my side, um, a little less than 3 years ago as a place to inspire and help others and to coach and use all the experience that I've had from being in the fitness industry as a coach and as a professional for over 10 years at this point. I started in group fitness in 2015, which is insane, and actually in personal training and group fitness. So, why are we here? How about that for a question? Realistically, I don't know any of that. I don't know much at all, but I'm trying to figure it out. And I know that because of the following that I have, because of the high visibility jobs and experiences that I've had, it might seem like I should have a very calm, controlled, enjoyable, with joyous lifestyle. And I do, but I still do struggle. And for a while, I really felt like that was my whole identity of I'm the sad kid. I'm the anxious person. I'm the person that is going to tell you how not to be anxious. And I still haven't figured that out, but I have learned along the way. One thing that I will say in getting all of this started, this is not meant to solve anything. This podcast, this me being here is not meant to help you be done. We're never going to be done. One thing that is true about this life, and it's echoed by Phil Stutz, who is Jonah Hill's psychologist or psychologist, yeah, therapist. He said, there's a few things in this life you cannot avoid, and one is constant work. And I fully agree. It's something that I've thought about a lot, especially with a new daughter. I've been working on really increasing and improving my investments and retirement accounts and things like that. And retirement to me is like, oh my gosh, I don't want to stop. I don't really plan on stopping working and stopping creating. And I think for that reason, I haven't been as bullish on investing in my retirement accounts until now. But I think a lot of it is just I don't want to stop learning and stop growing and stop being. So with all of that said, let me give you a little backstory. I told you I've struggled with anxiety and depression for a long time, but there was a few dark moments in my life that it was very difficult to get through. When I in 2021, I was offered a job opportunity to move to Utah, and I took it. And we moved from New York to Utah for a great opportunity. And one thing that I failed to do was to really set myself up for success in how I was absorbing and interpreting the moment. I felt like I was leaving everything. And truth be told, I started having anxiety attacks thinking, what if I can't do this job? And then we're moving across the country and we're screwed and I can't do it and I have to fire me. Fast forward to another situation a couple of years later when I was laid off from a job and I hadn't set myself up mentally for being confident with who I was. It was the job was the identity that I had. And the reason that I'm bringing that up in this episode is that's where Today I Am came from. I hit a rock bottom. And I think that I remember the day that I was dealing with, I had been laid off from the job, and for a couple weeks I just drank and was like, screw it. This is going to be somewhere where I can party for a little while and then I'll figure it out. I pushed it off. And then I was kind of on the mend of trying to figure out what I'm going to do, what I'm going to figure out, what I'm going to figure. I keep saying figure out, never going to figure it out, but what am I going to do next? And I was outside trying to meditate and breathe, which is something that I've realized regulating my body is really important. And I came inside, and my wife, Leah, has been supportive through all of this. And I looked her in the face and I said, I hate myself. And I started crying. And I think the reason that I started crying was that I felt it and I knew it. I knew it was real. I knew at that moment I did hate myself. I hated who I was. I hated how I felt. I hated what everything about myself in that moment. I hated. I was probably as close to not wanting to be around as possible. I would never say that I, got to a point where it was dangerous, but it was to a point where I'm like, I don't want to feel this anymore. And so I was having pretty gnarly anxiety attacks, pretty high anxiety every day. And so I developed Today I Am. And I said, I don't know what job I'm going to have. I don't know how I'm going to make enough money. I don't know how I'm going to get back home because we were in Florida at the time and I wanted to get back to New York to family. And so all I did was when I was walking my dog, Benny, I would say, today I am present. Today I am confident. Today I am powerful. Today I am patient. That was one I used a lot. Today I am patient because I was thinking past, okay, if I went back to a big box gym and started, okay, making 20, 30 bucks an hour, maybe, and then how is that going to be enough to support my family if I'm only getting a few sessions a day and blah, blah, blah. And fast forward. And today I am patient. That brought me back to the moment. And I use that every single day. I would create a word. Today I am here. And I love that one. Today I am here. I still use it almost every day, most days when I need it, which is almost every day, because I do find that I'm trying to solve. Let me reframe that. I do find that a lot of the days I see myself trying to solve and I'm working on it. And you'll catch me in this podcast and I will coach you, hopefully, and give you the opportunity to reframe how you're speaking about yourself, to yourself, and with others. So if I reframe what I'm saying, remember, that's me consciously seeing that the sentence that I just put out or the thought can be reworded in a way that has a more positive outlook and doesn't put me at a place of lack. So at that point, I needed to be present. I needed to slow down and I wanted to change. So today I am. And I used it every single day, even to at a point where I tattooed the word today on my leg. And I love that because I would be in a place where I'd start thinking and I'd smack the tattoo. Not to hurt myself, but just like, here it is. That's it. That's it. Today, today, today. I make the joke when someone says, what's the tattoo about? I love the joke. It's so I don't forget what day it is. And I need to be here and today. And you need to be here and today. So the biggest lesson that I'll give you today is to be present, focus on today. Because not only is today the only day that you can control your actions in, but today has a lot of hours and minutes and moments that make up today. Because we often underestimate what we can do in the long term. And that comes from taking small actions today that add up and compound, right? It's just like investing that I was saying. If we take a moment today and take one step towards that person we're trying to become, we can create an entirely different life. If you are in a dark place, if you are in a difficult moment and you don't know how to get out of it, and you think it's a long journey, and you don't know how long that journey is going to be or how you would even do it, the only thing to do is take one step today and stack those and stack those and stack those over and over and over, because the only way to walk 100 miles is one step after another. For those who don't know me, I'm big into ultra marathons. So you'll hear me talk about ultra marathons and 100-mile runs and how I've learned to run with my demons instead of away from them, why it's important to constantly grow, how I've built a business around helping people. And some of the days that I find I make the most impact with my clients are the days that I'm having the worst time dealing with my own inner self talk and the demons, I will call them. Now, what I hope to do here is to formulate some thoughts but also to create some actionable items for you, for myself. So here's the first one. Today, fill it in. Today I am here. I said in January, starting this week, I would record one podcast every single week that is at least 10 minutes long, and we're over the 10-minute mark. So mission accomplished. I just have to post it. But today I'm here. I didn't really know what I wanted out of this, and I didn't know I don't know where this is going to go. Honestly, I just hope I can continue to do it. I don't really, yeah, I do care. I was going to say I don't care if people watch. Of course I care if people watch, but I'm already enjoying this space and being here. So today I am here. How about you? All of my clients that I work with, they get their own journal. For those watching, it says today I am on it. It's blank inside, but it's one of the steps that I always take for myself if I'm journaling, or if I give my clients a journaling task, which I do every week. It says today I am. There's 3 steps in journaling that I give them before I give them their weekly journaling prompts. The first one is to say where you are and how you're feeling. So let's do it together. I'll do mine. I am in my office, which is also in my basement, and I feel great. Honestly, I feel pretty good. No, I don't feel pretty good. I feel great. The second thing is things that we're grateful for. This is going to seem materialistic. I'm really grateful for this backdrop, because behind this backdrop is cinder block. I'm in my basement, and it took a lot of time to put up these walls, and it's not perfect, but I really like this purple light that I can change the color of. It's just fun, and it makes me happy, and it really feels like myself. So I'm really happy for this backdrop. I'm ecstatic that my beautiful young daughter and wife are upstairs waiting for me to come up and wake her up for her nap. These are things that I'm grateful for. Why do we do that? Because gratitude and anxiety and doubt and worry can't occupy your brain at the same time. They're both in the same area. So typically we can push out the negatives with a little gratitude. And then we say, today I am. And today I am here. So my task for you is to do one journal entry, starting with those. You can stop at today I am, or I'll give you the first journal prompt that I give my clients. So after you do where you are, how you're feeling, then you do things you're grateful for. There we go. Then you do the today I am. Write down how you would describe yourself to a complete stranger without mentioning how you look, where you live, and what you do for work. Okay? If you're watching this, thank you so much for watching. If you've supported me in the past, which a lot of people have, I'm far from self-made, and I'm still working on myself. Thank you. Truly grateful to be here. Truly grateful to be here today. So today I am here, and today I am extremely grateful. Welcome to the podcast. Let's do it again.